From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
Members of Congress, ASCAP Foundation President Paul Williams, Executive Director Karen Sherry, board members, and everyone in the audience joining us tonight for this special concert of some of the best and most memorable songs of our time performed by their very creators. There cannot be a more genuine rendition of a song that will come straight from the composer and indeed from the composer's heart, as music does. The ASCAP Foundation and the Library of Congress have shared for many years a common goal to support and preserve musical creativity. This partnership was cemented last year when ASCAP began what will be an ongoing donation of its remarkable collection to the Library of Congress. This acquisition, representing the creative output of American composers in all musical forms and genres for almost 100 years, strongly supports the Library of Congress's mission to collect, preserve, and make accessible to scholars and others the full scope of creativity in American life, a creativity which is an expression of American life and of our more vital instincts. The ASCAP collection joins many others already here, which were donated by composers over the years: John Philip Sousa, Victor Herbert, Leonard Bernstein, Irving Caesar, Irving Berlin, George and Ira Gershwin, Howard Ashman, Aaron Copland, all of them members and key figures in ASCAP. So we thank you once again for this landmark gift to the Library of Congress and to the American people. With members of Congress present, this is a perfect opportunity to acknowledge their historic role in building and maintaining the preeminent music collections here, as well as collections in all subject areas. The continuous generous support of the Congress for 210 years have made the Library of Congress not only our oldest cultural institution federally supported, but America's national library, and by far, by now, the largest and most comprehensive repository of both the world's knowledge in recorded forms and America's special creativity. It is a real pleasure particularly to think of this and the series of congressional resolutions that have in effect created here in the heart of the nation's capital a national patrimony of America's creativity. This knowledge was founded on the principle that knowledge, individual creativity, education, free access to information are all critical to a vibrant and expanding democracy. The Congress's support of this institution is proof that they continue to uphold and advance this principle on behalf of the American people. Indeed, quite simply stated, the Congress of the United States has been the greatest patron in the history of the world and the gathering in of a national patrimony of our creative people. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce Congressman John Conyers, representing Michigan's 14th District. As chairman of the Judiciary Committee and throughout his long and distinguished legislative career, John Conyers has consistently championed the rights of creative people, especially those connected to music, songwriters, lyricists, arrangers, and performers. For all that, we owe him a great debt of gratitude. He is a champion of equitable treatment of performers, of sound recordings, of his bill, the Performance Rights Act, currently pending before the House, would provide fair compensation to performers for over-the-air broadcasts of their recordings and at the same time provide protection for small broadcasters and others. He was a sponsor of orphan works legislation as well, which is important to libraries and other nonprofit institutions. He is a connoisseur of jazz himself, a frequent patron, if I may put it that way, and visitor to our performing arts reading room. He is a real lover and true fan of American music and of those who have produced it. We're honored to have him here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Congressman Conyers.
Thank you, Dr. Billington. I'll return the books that are outstanding at the library first thing tomorrow morning. It's so nice that all of us are here for ASCAP and that we're in the Library of Congress. And I'm introducing an icon, Paul Williams, who has, after all, he's done it all. Is this gentleman a sort of a musical genius? Is he an artist of such comparability that when you take, he writes, he acts, he does movie scores, theater, basketball. I mean, this guy has got it. And so I am so proud to be selected. And he also has a jazz sensitivity, speaking on behalf, because some of his music is used by the jazz artists who play ballads, and many of them are whose? Paul Williams. Let us recognize him now.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you. He was asking if where I was playing somewhere, and anything before 1989 is Mayberville, so I couldn't really remember that for you, but thank you. I appreciate the Chairman Conyers, ladies and gentlemen. The podium. Note to Dr. Billington. How the hell it's when you can only see the glasses and the hair, it's hard to look presidential. Good evening, everybody, and a big thank you to Chairman Conyers for that wonderful introduction. It's a great pleasure to be here once again at the Library of Congress, the repository, a word I've never used in rhyme, repository. Don't even go there. Of so much of our nation's history. All of us at ASCAP and the ASCAP Foundation are so pleased that it is now the home of the ASCAP Archive, officially the ASCAP Collection at the Library of Congress. Thank you so much. With the owner of a 1957 Buick, I'm grateful to Dr. Billington for his eloquent words about the collection. It is certainly meaningful to all of us who are songwriters. We've always been part and parcel of our country's history, famous, infamous. We were there. We were there for the rocket's red glare. We were there in the back of that Chevy with you. So our songs have been a part of it. From Julia Ward Howe, who was moved to write the Battle Hymn of the Republic. I said the Bottle Hymn of the Republic. Some things just will not change. The Battle Hymn of the Republic, just blocks from here, as the Civil War raged, to Brother Can You Spare a Dime by Yip Harburg and Jay Gorney during the darkest days of the Depression, to the very topical rap songs of today. Speaking of rap songs, it was interesting. Dr. Billington was in Los Angeles when we had the ASCAP RNS Awards, which is the Rhythm and Soul Awards. So Karen Sherry, who's our amazing head of all these special events, ran into Dr. Billington and said, "What are you doing in town?" They had a nice little conversation. "What are you guys doing?" "Well, we're doing the Rhythm and Soul Awards," which is hip-hop, rap, whatever. "Dr. Billington, would you and Marjorie like to come to the show?" So they came to the show. They sit right down front in Bling City, it's like, One of the great numbers was, and I'm sitting there watching Dr. Billington while a guy is up there singing birthday sex, birthday, And I'm going, when worlds collaborate, birthday sex. I usually get golf balls, you know, so. Tommy Bahama. Right? I very much like the fact that ASCAP's archive is being housed at the Library of Congress. Those of us who spend our lives writing the songs that have made American music the most popular in the world understand the great debt we owe to America's lawmakers, past and present. It's pretty simple. The fact is that technology outruns the law. Technology outruns the law. I'll give you the sort of thing we deal with. You know, you come up with this amazing new technique to bring music into people's homes, and they say, wait a minute. No, it's an electronic transmission. You don't need to be paid. Am I talking about the internet? No, I'm talking about radio. It's something that we've dealt with for years. As the technology changes, we come to Washington. It's the great honor of us as songwriters to come to Washington, as composers, as publishers, to come to Washington and to go over to the House and talk to the senators and congressmen, the lawmakers who have saved our bacon again and again and again. It is an honest, legit honor for me to be here tonight. I want to express my personal thanks to, first of all, Karen Sherry can do anything. You know, I mean, touch the hem. She's working on a tree. This woman is amazing. Karen Sherry, Adrian Ross, Colleen McDonough, Jim Steinblatt, Janelle Travers, and Esther Sansoris for their invaluable help in planning tonight's event. And special thanks to John LaFermento, who makes it all possible. The amazing John LaFermento. Thank you. We would also like to acknowledge the great efforts and cooperation of everyone at the Library of Congress in welcoming the ASCAP collection and making this evening a reality. This is the second year. It's fantastic. In particular, Dr. Billington, of course, but also Sue Vida and Betty Allman and the entire team here at our Library of Congress. It's your library. It's my library. Give them a round of applause. Now for some live music. I'm not going to sing tonight. You know, I got a little something extra to stay quiet. You know, you don't get to hear the songwriters sing all the time. And the fact is, I love to sing my own songs, but I realize if I had been the one who sang them, I'd be hot walking horses right now. You know. But there's something really special about hearing a song performed by the person who wrote it. You know, so you're going to be hearing the songs performed by the songwriters who wrote it. They'll each tell you the stories behind the song. These are guys who showed up when all the good titles were already taken, sat up late at night writing something that was brilliant, looked at the piece of paper the next day and went, oh my God, I have rewritten O Little Town of Bethlehem, you know. Which actually happened to me, I swear to God. I did. I wrote a rock and roll anthem. I took my place beside you, girl. I went, down, do, down, do, beside you, girl. Oh, little town of Bethlehem. Oh, Jesus. No offense. I mean, no offense. No. It's also special we have a number of legislators with us who will be introducing our songwriters, demonstrating the song bond between those who write the laws and those who write the songs. Where do songwriters live? They live in New York, they live in Atlanta, they live in Nashville, they live in Los Angeles, they live in Baltimore, they live in Rhode Island, they live in Texas, they live everywhere. Well, the nice thing is that the songwriters tonight are going to be introduced by the people who represent them in their state. So let's begin with some great music. Please welcome the representative of the 6th District of Virginia and a member of the House Judiciary Committee, the Honorable Bob Goodlatte. All righty, Bob. Let me get my stuff out of your way. Thank you, sir.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to be here tonight, an honor to be here with Paul Williams, and I knew that he was a repository of musical talent. I did not know, I guess I had forgotten that he was a great stand-up comedian as well. But the first performer tonight did not originate anywhere near the 6th Congressional District of Virginia, but I am filling in for Congressman Louis Gohmert of Texas. But our Chairman Conyers, will be glad to know that our first songwriter-performer tonight is a native of Detroit who grew up in Amarillo, Texas. Now, how's that a transition for you? He was an integral part of the country rock fusion that exploded out of Los Angeles in the early 70s, collaborating most notably with members of the Eagles, Linda Ronstadt, and Jackson Browne. You can applaud all three of them. Most of us are familiar with the beautiful songs he wrote for Linda Ronstadt, including Faithless Love and Black Roses, White Rhythm and Blues. All of us know the massive hits he co-wrote with the Eagles like New Kid in Town, The Best of My Love, James Dean, and more. He has also enjoyed success as a member of the Souther Hillman Furey Band and as a solo recording artist. 2 years ago, he returned to the recording world with a jazz-oriented album titled If the World Was You. Please welcome J.D. Souther.
That was a beautiful introduction, even if you didn't pronounce my name right. It's Souther, and I am from your state now. You know, I've moved to Tennessee, so I'm getting closer and closer. So we couldn't find any Texas reps to introduce us tonight. It must be a big vote on something. We're not sure what. But it's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor. We had a wonderful day in the library. It's a magnificent experience to see what's been done here to collect and preserve music and musical instruments and musicians as well. Some of us are pretty well preserved. So I'm honored to be singing and playing for all of you. I'm in mind of an address that Mark Twain gave in this city once, where he expressed his pleasure at his company, similar company that he was in, congressmen, burglars, all of us in the trade. So, not to let Mr. Clemens down, I'm going to actually do a song that that wasn't mentioned, and we'll see where it goes from there. This is a song that the Eagles did, and it was a great surprise to me. We wrote about half of the song and were stuck. Glenn Fry and I, and he sang the song over the phone to Bob Seger, and at the appropriate moment, Bob Seger came in and sang the chorus. So songs get written in a variety of ways. This one got written long distance, Texas, LA, Ann Arbor, Michigan. And let's see what you think of it. Somebody's gonna hurt someone before the night is through. Somebody's gonna come undone. There's nothing we can do. Everybody wants to touch somebody if it takes all night. And everybody wants to take a little chance, make it come out right. Well, there's gonna be a heartache tonight, I know. There's gonna be a heartache tonight, I know. Oh, I know. Well, some people like to stay out late, some folks can't hold out that long. But nobody wants to go home now, there's too much going on. And this night is gonna last forever, last all summer long. But sometime before the sun comes up, the radio is gonna play that song. And it's gonna be a heartache tonight, I know. There's gonna be a heartache tonight, I know. Yeah, I know. There'll be a heartache tonight, the moon shining bright. We'll put out the light and maybe get it right. There'll be a heartache tonight, much. Some songs are collaborative, and it's wonderful. There's nothing better than writing songs with your friends because they get finished that way. The next song I'm going to play was actually was also a hit the same year. It was a nice Christmas. They were both in the top 10 the same week. I spent money like a drunken fool that year. I just couldn't. I thought it would never end. But I wrote this song alone in Colorado. I used to go to a cabin in Colorado when it got cold in L.A. This makes no sense whatsoever. You know? But it was a good way to torture myself into coming up with something. So I rented a cabin from Stephen Stills up on a ridge and a truck with a snowplow on the front. And the second year I was there, the cover had blown off the wood pile, and that was the only heat for the cabin. So most of the winter was me splitting wood and stacking it around the living room and moving it gradually closer to the fireplace so I didn't freeze to death. And in the course of that, a wonderful woman was flying out to Denver every other week or so, and I'd go get her and we'd come back to the cabin. And I wrote this song for her, but I just never finished it. This is a long, long time ago. And when I was doing an album in 1979 or 80 with my friend Waddy Wachtel, who was my main guitar gun back then when I had guitar bands, I was playing him songs for the album, and I played him about 6 or 7 songs, and he said, you know, Jake, they're wonderful, but do you have anything more up-tempo? And I said, no. They were all dirges. I said, couldn't we just take one of the ballads and speed it up a lot? And he said, no, I don't think it's going to work. What else he got? And I said, well, I have this one kind of catchy little thing I wrote in Colorado years ago, but it doesn't have a last verse, and doesn't have a chorus, and doesn't have a bridge either. There's actually not that much to it at all, but it's sort of catchy. And he said, well, play it for me, and so I did. And he said, Jakey, that's it. It's our hit. That's a hit song, and we get a drink of water. Expire here. Is this what happens on the floor of Congress? Do you get to reach for the water? As I watch C-SPAN, and I don't see a lot of reaching for water there. I want to know what kind of lozenge you guys have that I don't have. So anyway, I played this thing for Waddy. He says, that's it, that's our hit. I said, well, it doesn't have all these things. It's not really a finished song. He gave me the best advice I've ever had in songwriting. He said in his Queens accent, which I can't really do. Like I said, I'm from Detroit and Cleveland and Texas and California, every place but Queens, New York. But he said, sing the first verse again. So I did. This is how the first verse goes. When the world is ready to fall on your little shoulders, when you're feeling lonely and small, you need somebody there to hold you. You can call out my name when you're only lonely. Don't you ever be ashamed. You're only lonely. When the world is ready to fall on those nights that try you, remember shoulders. And when you're feeling lonely and small, you need somebody there to hold you. Don't you ever be ashamed when you're only lonely. Oh, you can call out my name. You're only lonely. Nothing wrong with you, darling, I get lonely too. You're only lonely. You're only lonely. So if you need me, all you gotta do is call me. You're only lonely. Thanks very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the newly elected representative for Florida's 19th Congressional District and an aspiring member of the House Judiciary Committee, the Honorable Ted Deutsch.
As a lover of music, I was excited to be here with ASCAP at the Library of Congress tonight, but to follow Tracy Chapman on stage is a particularly exciting moment for me. It's wonderful to know that my Florida district has among its distinguished residents a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer who has been performing for more than 5 decades. As a leader of the Bronx doo-wop group, the Belmonts, he caught America's attention with great records like I Wonder Why and A Teenager in Love. As a solo artist, he recorded hit after hit that were and still are the musical personification of what it means to be young. He helped our nation heal after the assassinations of President Kennedy and Dr. King, with a heartfelt recording of Abraham, Martin, and John. Over the years, he has also recorded folk, blues, and country music. He is acknowledged as a vital influence by artists like Bruce Springsteen, Paul Simon, and Billy Joel. Ladies and gentlemen, a true hero of rock and roll, Dion DiMucci.
Yo! Look at you. Everybody say yo. One more time. Yo! Right. Look good. Here's my story, it's sad but true. It's about a girl that I once knew. She took my love and ran around. I feel like I'm at the high school dance. Every single guy in town, nothing's changed. Hey, hey, oh, 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 hey, oh, oh, hey, oh, oh, la, 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 hey, oh, hey, a girl that came out with a broken heart. Well, listen, people, what I'm telling you is to keep away from her, run around Sue. Yeah, I miss her lips and a smile on her face, touch of her hand, girls from the wrist. Well, if you don't want her, people cry like I do. Keep away from her, run around Sue. Yeah.
and love still grows. But that's kind of food she ever knew that I'll keep away from her, run around to play that line. One more time, play that line. Keep away from that girl. I don't know what she'll do. Oh, she likes to travel around. She loves you and gets you down. People love to put you wise. Sue goes and what other guys? I got the moral, got stars, and I got who knows. Yeah, and I really love him. My love still grows. Ask can that fool she ever knew that keep away from her, run around to one more time. Keep away from that girl. I don't know what she'll do. Sue goes, she goes down with her. The guys I got moral stories, got who knows. I asked County fool, she ever knew that I keep away from running around. Yeah, get one more time, play that thing. Got me going, got me going. Come on, baby. Come on, hey. Or someone like you. I need you all. I need you. I need you. I need everybody on the left. I need everybody on the right. I need everybody. Yo! Yo! So I'm hanging out in the Bronx, 1957, you know? And I meet Susan, who's from Vermont. I never knew they grew anything as beautiful as Susan up in Vermont. I was like a 17-year-old stalker. And Susan was a wordsmith. Because, you know, I was trying to impress her. I finally got her attention. I said, you know, I had my tank top on. I said, yo, Sue, that guy Billy is a real greaseball. She said, well, I believe Billy's perception of reality is colored and skewed by his limitations and his faulty dependencies and his insecurities. I said, that's what I said. He's a real greaseball. But there was this guy, Jackie Burns, in my neighborhood, and this next song is like, I guess it was a little before its time, because Jackie, he used to have his tank top on with his do, you know, and he used to walk down the street with that attitude. And every girl he dated, he got a tattoo on his arm. I got Janie. And then he broke up with Janie. So you got Mary. Covered up Janie with a leopard. Big leopard, you know. Then he got Mary, you know, covered up with a pair of dice, or, you know, and then he got Flo. And then he finally got Rosie on his chest. When he broke up with her, he put like a battleship on his chest. So this song is a little before its time, but it does turn in on itself in the in the bridge. It goes like this. He was worth the song. Type of guy like I roam around. I'm never in one place. I roam from town to town by myself, falling for some girl. I hop into that car, man, drive around the world. I'm a wanderer, I'm a wanderer. I roam around, round, 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 girl. You know that floor on my left arm, Mary on my right, Janie is the girl. I'll be with the night. Little girl, ask me which one I love the best. Tail up in my shirt, show a rosy on my chest. I'm a wonder. Oh, little girl, I get round, 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 yeah. I roam from town to town. I go life without a care, and I'm as happy as a clown. I got my 2 fists of iron, but I'm going nowhere. I'm a type of guy like to roam around with pretty girls on deck. You know I can't be kiss me. I love her. I mean her all the same. Look at me squeal. They don't know my name. I'm a wanderer. Yeah, I get around. I get all around. I know, heck, I know. You can do it, baby. In one place, I roam from town to town. Fish love in the ocean, worms underneath the ground, birds in the treetops tie me down. I'm a wanderer. Yeah, I get around, I get all around. You know when I roam from town to town, I go life without a care. I'm happy as a clown. I got my 2 fists of iron, but I'm going nowhere. I'm a type of guy like to roam around, never in one place. Roam from town to town. I find myself falling for some girl. I hop right into that car, I drive around the world. I'm a wanderer. Yeah, I get around, round, 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 yeah. I'm a wanderer. Yo, I get around, I get all around. I'm a wanderer. Whoa, lovely lady. I get round, yeah. I'll get around. I'll get around, round. I don't kid around. Leave the gun, take the cannolis. Yo! God bless you. Yo! Yeah, na 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 na. Yo! Have a good night. God bless you all. You're the greatest. You're wonderful. Thank you. Yo! Thanks, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the representative for Tennessee's 7th Congressional District, a member of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, and co-founder and co-chairman of the Congressional Songwriters Caucus, the Honorable Marcia Blackburn.
I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. And Karen, Paul, thank you for giving us the opportunity to sit here in this beautiful building and really appreciate the gift that songwriters give to each of us each and every day. And I think that what this evening really needs is a little touch of honest-to-goodness country music from the great music center that I represent, Nashville, Tennessee. And I will tell you, we all may be drowned river rats, but we've still got a song to sing coming out of Tennessee. The floods have not gotten us yet. And so we're going to give you an extra special double helping of country music. And in this country music segment, you're going to hear two very special songwriters, one of the most successful and well-respected Music City tunesmiths, to be followed by a remarkable newcomer whose star is truly on the rise. Our first performer is originally from Arkansas. We don't hold it against him. We're glad he crossed that big river. But he has lived and worked in Nashville for nearly 4 decades, so we claim him as our own in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District. He has written or co-written over 40 top hits, and get this, 14 #1 songs. Songs like You're My Best Friend, Rednecks, White Sox, and Blue Ribbon Beer, and Till the Rivers All Run Dry. How appropriate for us this week. We're waiting for some drying out in Tennessee. They have all been recorded by country music's best singers, ranging from Don Williams, Tammy Wynette, Ernest Tubb, and the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, to that British country music lover, Peter Townsend, an inductee of both the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame and the Arkansas Entertainers Hall of Fame. He is an active member of the music industry and is truly seen as a music industry leader. He serves as chairman of the Nashville Songwriters Foundation and as a member of both the ASCAP and ASCAP Foundation Board of Directors. He will be followed by a beautiful young Tennessee native who is making her name both as a songwriter and as an artist. She has had her songs recorded by some top country music talent, including Patti Loveless and Trisha Yearwood. She has also released her own album on the Columbia label. But 2009 was her biggest year yet, a song that she co-wrote called The Climb for the hit film Hannah Montana, the movie, and recorded by Miley Cyrus, went to the top of the Billboard charts. You'll be hearing it in a few moments, but right now, to perform his unforgettable Grammy-nominated hit is Whan Holifield.
Thank you, Congresswoman Blackburn. She is my congresswoman in Tennessee, and Albert Hammond's going to be singing a little bit. Never Rains in Southern California. Boy, could we have used him in Middle Tennessee last weekend. It was some tough stuff. Did you know that behind every successful songwriter is an astonished mother-in-law? You mentioned Peter Townsend. He did cut a song of mine called Till the Rivers All Run Dry, which Jesse, we were talking about earlier. Now, you know, he had some health problems, and my question was always, did he record it before or after he went deaf? I prefer to think, you know. This song we're going to do is, we talk about things that, why you write songs and why do we do what we do as songwriters. Well, we do it, I think, to touch people's lives. Are we successful often? Not always. Do we try to do that? Sure. But every now and then you have one that kind of works. And this one kind of worked. Anne Murray recorded this. It was in the movie Urban Cowboy. It's a song that was played in the wedding scene, and people still use this song in their weddings. And can I tell you, when we talk about payment, we certainly want to be remunerated for our work. But this kind of payment that you get from the feedback sometimes when you touch people's lives at a time like this is special. Tracy mentioned something about the inspiration, not knowing where it comes from always, but I know exactly where this one came from. Always remember the song they were playing the first time we danced, and I knew as we swayed to the music, held to each other, I fell in love with you. Could I have this dance for the rest of my life? Would you be my partner every night? When we're together, it feels so right. Could I have this dance for the rest of my life? Always remember that magic moment when I held you close to me. As we moved together, I knew forever you're all I'll ever need. Could I have this dance for the rest of my life? Would you be my partner every night? When we're together, it feels so right. Could I have this dance for the rest of my life? Could I have this dance for the rest of my life? Would you be my partner every night? When we're together, it feels so right. Could I have this dance for the rest of my life?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a singer-songwriter who's been flooded out of her Nashville home, but she's with us tonight, Jessie Alexander.
Very funny. It's okay, I'm making new memories here tonight. Thank you guys so much for having me. I can't tell you what an honor and thrill it is to share the stage with some of my favorite songwriters in the world, and it's just such a pleasure. I'm gonna do a song that she mentioned earlier that to tell you the real story, it actually came out of deep frustration in the music business. You have to write what you know, right? And there's been a lot of highs and lows. I've had record deals and publishing deals, and I was just at a point where I felt like nothing was happening, and it wasn't happening fast enough, and there was this place I was trying to get to, and I just couldn't get there, and it hit me one day that it really isn't about that place. It's about everything leading there, and once I chilled out and just started to enjoy the journey, I realized that that's where the good stuff is. And luckily, Miley Cyrus and the director of the film heard the song, and baby's got shoes now. I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming, but there's a voice inside my head saying, you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every move I make feels lost with no direction. My faith is shaking, but I gotta keep trying, gotta keep my head held high, 'cause there's always gonna be another mountain, always gonna wanna make it move, always gonna be an uphill battle, sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there, ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. These prayers I'm praying, chances I'm taking, sometimes seem all in vain, but no, they're not wasted. I may not know, but these are the moments that I'm gonna remember most. Yeah, these years are golden, and I gotta be strong, just keep pushing on, 'cause there's always gonna be another mountain, always gonna wanna make it move, always gonna be an uphill battle, sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there, ain't about what's waiting on the other side. Yeah, it's the climb. Always gonna be another mountain, always gonna wanna make it move, always gonna be an uphill battle, sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there, ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. Lord, it's the climb. Oh, I know it is. I just gotta keep on moving, keep climbing, keep the faith, baby. 'Cause it's all about the climb. I gotta keep the faith. Thank you. John Randall.
Ladies and gentlemen, the senator from California and the chairman of the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee, the Honorable Barbara Boxer.
Thank you. What an honor it is to be here. Wow. What an honor it is to be here as we see our life go by through all this music. It's a fantastic show, and the man I am about to introduce will keep the magic going, I can assure you of that. He has enjoyed a 5-decade collaboration with his partner in life and in songwriting. I'm going to ask her to stand up. Marilyn Bergman, would you do that, Marilyn? Yay, Marilyn. Marilyn served as ASCAP's president and chairman for 15 years. Wow. And is a member of the board of both ASCAP and the ASCAP Foundation. The two of them have provided words for standards sung by Frank Sinatra, Barbra Streisand, Neil Diamond, Tony Bennett, Ray Charles, Dusty Springfield, and many others. Over the years, Alan and Marilyn have been honored with 16 Academy Award nominations. Yes. And they won 3 Oscars, as well as 4 Emmys and 2 Grammys, and they've been inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Their credits include How Do You Keep the Music Playing? What Are You Doing the Rest of Your Life? Nice and Easy, In the Heat of the Night, and the theme from Tootsie, It Might Be You. I am deliberately omitting 2 of their greatest titles, which you will be hearing momentarily. Basically, the words of Marilyn and Alan Bergman have chronicled the human experience when it comes to relationships, and they are still writing. That's the great news. You need to know that introducing Alan is a real moment for me, and I am very verklempt about it. That is because I am the co-chair of the California Bergman Groupies, and the other chair is Marilyn. And in 2007, our songwriter recorded his first album titled Lyrically, and he will now treat us to performances of 2 of his Oscar-winning songs from that acclaimed CD. Ladies and gentlemen, Alan Bergman.
Well, to be introduced by the great senator from California, who is a real champion for the rights of the creative people. Yes. And furthermore, for the environment in this world. Yeah. She does the important work. Yeah. I agree. Huh? Yeah. This first song I'll do is a collaboration with a gentleman we've been writing with since 1967, Michel Legrand. And we were asked by a wonderful director, Norman Jewison, to write a song for a picture called The Thomas Crown Affair. And Norman showed us this scene where the Steve McQueen character, who had just masterminded the robbery of a bank, and he was flying this glider, which that was his hobby, but he was very grim, he was very anxious, and Norman asked us to write a song that would underline the anxiety that the character was feeling at that time. And so with Michel Legrand, who was living with us at the time, came downstairs and he played us about 8 melodies for this one spot. Really riches, one after another. And we couldn't decide which one, and finally we said, let's wait till tomorrow morning. And so he played us the 8 melodies again the next day, and we, over the night, the 3 of us independently had picked the same melody, luckily. And so this is the song. We used a phrase in the song. We didn't know what to call it, and it was kind of, there was one phrase in there that was kind of attractive to us, and so we decided to call it The Windmills of Your Mind. Around like a circle in a spiral, like a wheel within a wheel, never ending or beginning on an ever-spinning reel, like a snowball down a mountain or a carnival balloon, like a carousel that's turning, running rings around the moon, like a clock whose hands are sweeping past the minutes of its face, and the world is like an apple whirling silently in space, like the circles that you find in the windmills of your mind, like a tunnel that you follow to a tunnel of its own, down a hollow to a cavern where the sun has never shone, like a door that keeps revolving in a half-forgotten dream, or the ripples from a pebble someone tosses in a stream, like a clock whose hands are sweeping past the minutes of its face, and the world is like an apple whirling silently in space, like the circles that you find in the windmills of your mind, keys that jingle in your pocket, words that jangle in your head. Why did summer go so quickly? Was it something that you said? Lovers walk along the shore, leave their footprints in the sand. Is the sound of distant drumming just the fingers of your hand? Pictures hanging in a hallway and the fragment of a song, half-remembered names and faces, but to whom do they belong? When you knew that it was over, you were suddenly aware that the autumn leaves were turning to the color of her hair. Like a, see, I forget the words. Like a circle in a spiral, like a wheel within a wheel, never ending or beginning on an ever-spinning reel, as the images unwind, like the circles that you find in the windmills of your mind. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, and I have to thank Chris Caswell for that wonderful piano. Thank you, Chris. Now, this next song, you know, sometimes the stars are really right. A great title. We usually come up with the titles, but this was a title of a book and a screenplay and a movie. We also had the great pleasure of working with a wonderful director, Sidney Pollack. Terrific man. A marvelous, wonderful composer, Marvin Hamlish, who this is now maybe 35 years later, we were writing a Broadway show with Marvin at the moment, and he's a real joy to work with. And he was then, and he still is. Maybe the title was Arthur Lawrence's, from a book of his and a screenplay of his, as I said. And to write for the greatest voice of our generation, Barbra Streisand. So this is the song. Memories light the corners of my mind. Misty watercolor memories of the way we were. Scattered pictures of the smiles we left behind, smiles we gave to one another for the way we were. Can it be that it was all so simple then? Or has time rewritten every line? If we had the chance to do it all again, tell me, would we? Could we? Memories may be beautiful and yet what's too painful to remember, we simply choose to forget. So it's the laughter we will remember whenever we remember the way we were. Every day was like a gift of flowers, ribbon wrapped and waiting to be seen. Eagerly we opened all the hours. Then what happened? Memories may be beautiful and yet what's too painful to remember, we simply choose to forget. So it's the laughter we will remember whenever we remember the way we were. The way we were. Thank you. I just have to remind you that those lyrics were co-written with the most remarkable woman in the world, Marilyn Bergman.
Ladies and gentlemen, the representative for California's 28th Congressional District and the chairman of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Howard L. Bergman.
I have to say that no one in this town puts on a show like ASCAP. The fellow I'm going to present, if you know him, you have to love him. And if you don't know him, I think you and hundreds of millions of people around the world love his songs. You've heard of the Songwriters Hall of Fame. Well, on hand to perform next is both its inductee and its chairman and CEO. I guess that's like being chairman of the board. He's been honored by both Oscar and Grammy Awards and many other accolades. A native New Yorker, now living in Southern California, a familiar migration pattern, he is the lyricist behind dozens of standards, including Alfie, What the World Needs Now, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, Walk On By, and Close to You. And now the show he wrote with Burt Bacharach in 1968, Promises, Promises, is back on Broadway. He served as ASCAP's president from 1980 to 1986 and has remained active as chairman of the ASCAP Legislative Committee. He also serves on the board of the ASCAP Foundation. And for my nearly 28 years in Congress, he has been a very wise and knowledgeable advisor on issues affecting the creative community and the music industry. More than that, he has been a great friend. I'm very pleased to call upon Hal David.
Thank you, Howard. You're very generous and very kind. Thank you. In 1968, Burt Bacharach and I were on the road. We were in Boston with Promises, Promises, and the show looked rather good. We had one problem. We had a song called Wouldn't That Be a Stroke of Luck, which everybody liked except the audience. And so we sat down and we wrote another song, which remains in the show. It's back on Broadway. And that night, the first night it went in, it stopped the show. And I'd like to sing that for you. What do you get when you fall in love? You only get lies and pain and sorrow. So for at least until tomorrow, I'll never fall in love again. I'll never fall in love again. What do you get when you kiss a girl? You only get germs to catch pneumonia. After you do, she'll never phone you. I'll never fall in love again. I'll never fall in love again. Don't tell me what it's all about, 'cause I've been there and I'm glad I'm out of those chains that bind you. That is why I'm here to remind you. What do you get when you fall in love? You only get lies and pain and sorrow. So for at least until tomorrow, I'll never fall in love again. I'll never fall in love again. Don't tell me what it's all 'cause I've been there and I'm glad I'm out of those chains that bind you. That is why I'm here to remind you, what do you get when you fall in love? You only get lies and pain and sorrow. So for at least until tomorrow, I'll never fall in love again. I'll never fall in love again. That's a great band we have. Thank you so much. You know, I've got to tell you about somebody else. Often it takes more than one person to write a song, and I've been blessed with some great songwriting partners over the years, notably Burt Bacharach. And then there is the gentleman I am so proud to introduce tonight. He was born in London, raised in Gibraltar, and first made a name for himself in Spain, England, and as both a performer and a songwriter. He now makes his home in Los Angeles. He has written many hits, and I am particularly proud of the hit we've created together for Julio Iglesias and Willie Nelson. Welcome to my friend, Albert Hammond. I don't know who's going to be Willie and who's going to be Julio.
I think you can be Willie. I'll be Willie. When Hal and I first met, we didn't know what to talk about, so we talked about
girls.
Girls, that's it. You know. And we wrote this song.
To all the girls I've loved before, who traveled in and out my door, I'm glad they came along. I dedicate the song to all the girls I've loved before.
To all the girls I once caressed, and may I say I've held the best, for helping me to grow. I owe a lot, I know, to all the girls I've loved before. The winds of change are always blowing, and every time I try to stay, the winds of change continue blowing, and they just carry me away. To all the girls who shared my life, who now are someone else's wives, I'm glad they came along. I dedicate this song to all the girls I've loved before. The winds of change are always blowing, and every time I try to stay, the winds of change continue blowing, and they just carry me away. To all the girls I've loved before, who traveled in and out my door, I'm glad they came along. I dedicate this song to all the girls I've loved before. Thank you. Hal David, Mr. Hal David, please. You know, writing songs with Hal was like going to see the psychiatrist. He would always lie on a couch. You know? Anyway, he did say I'm from Gibraltar, and it's true. And when I was speaking with the senator from Ohio, Senator Brown, and I said Gibraltar, he looked at me, and I guess I'm the first Gibraltarian to be at the Library of Congress. So here's a little song, one of many, that I love. Got on board a westbound 747. Didn't think before deciding what to do. Oh, that talk of opportunities, TV breaks and movies rang true, sure rang true. Seems it never rains in Southern California. Seems I've often heard that kind of talk before. It never rains in California, but girl, don't they warn ya, it pours, man, it pours. Out of work, I'm out of my head, out of self-respect, I'm out of bread. I'm underloved, I'm underfed, I wanna go home. It never rains in California, but girl, don't they warn ya, it pours, man, it pours. Tell the folks back home I nearly made it. Had offers but don't know which one to take. Please don't tell them how you found me. Don't tell them how you found me. Give me a break. Give me a break. It never rains in Southern California. Seems I've often heard that kind of talk before. It never rains in California, but girl, don't they warn ya, it pours, man, it pours. But girl, don't they warn ya, it pours, man, it pours. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the representative of West Virginia's 2nd Congressional District and a member of the House Financial Services Committee, the Honorable Shelley Moore Capito.
Thank you. It is such an honor for me to be here among such talented folks. Our next performer was born and raised in West Virginia's coal country. He was born in Slab Fork, a little town called Slab Fork. In West Virginia, we're always proud of our heritage. From very humble beginnings, he went on to serve in the United States Navy and later worked in aircraft manufacturing. He was already in his 30s when he attempted a musical career and was met with great success and acceptance. He has gone on to become a Grammy-winning writer and performer of classic songs like Grandma's Hands, Lovely Day, Just the Two of Us, Use Me, and a couple of the blockbusters you'll be hearing in a moment. There is something about his songs that is so direct and universally appealing. As a fellow West Virginian, I think it is because his lyrics are written in the language of the heart. I know all of us West Virginians will be proud to know that he remains as modest and plain-spoken as ever. He will be performing 2 songs. On the first, he will be joined by his daughter, Corey, a talented young singer and songwriter in her own right. And on the second song, he will sing with one of Broadway's stars of The Color Purple, Elizabeth Withers, only related by talent. Please welcome the great Bill Withers.
I know that I'm a senior now because the Congress lady's father gave me a proclamation many years ago when he was governor of West Virginia. I was sitting there and I was thinking like, man, the American songbook would be a lot thinner without these people we have. No? You okay standing there? Yeah. Okay. No. This is Corey. I've been teasing her since she ran the LA Marathon. We have to call her a marathoner now. But I was listening to all the different genres and places that have been represented here tonight. From the elegance of Alan Bergman and Hal David, who write things that if you just read it on a sheet of paper, it would be just as impressive. My new friend Waylon came up and we had the young lady. I mean, how much more contemporary can you get than Miley Cyrus? And we had the New York doo-wop guys from the corner. They hit it. They're still, you know. I could almost see this burning, remember those big 55-gallon cans, Hal, where they build a fire in New York and sing all night on the corner? Yeah. And, you know, I'm just thinking about all the stuff. And you think about movies that make you hear things, and then there are songs that make you see things. And I was listening to that, Alan, you recite that stuff, man. And you and Marilyn write so, you know. And I was thinking like, the evolution of time, those Oscar-winning songs. And then I thought about another Oscar-winning song. It's hard out here for a pimp. And I said, okay, it's cool. Hey. Each thing has its own soul. And it jostled my sense of humor. And having visited, sort of, stuck my toe in several of these genres, made me think of a recent foray I took with a friend of mine, Jimmy Buffett. Jimmy called me up and says, Bill, I'm going to make a country album. I said, what'd you call me for? He says, well, you about as country as anybody I know. So I took on that challenge, and I channeled somebody that I listened to as a kid, Little Jimmy Dickens. You ever hear Little Jimmy Dickens, Paul? Funny guy, man, sleeping at the foot of the bed. So Jimmy Buffett gave me a phrase. He was talking. He says, well, it's just simply complicated. I says, okay, Jimmy, next time I get back to you, we'll be ready. And as I usually do, people talk about songwriting techniques, and I have a technique. I sit around scratching myself and wait for something to cross my mind. I figured that's why they call it a gift. Sit there and open up your mind and let yourself be a conduit. And it all came to me. When you find out things about yourself that you hadn't ought to know, and your grandma calls and books you on the Jerry Springer show. And you find out you and your wife for 10 years just might be related. Brother, life ain't over. It's just simply complicated. So usually, when I trust people not to think that I'm rude, and somebody says, well, what were you thinking when you wrote that song? I said, I was thinking that. But, like Paul said, Karen Sherry does not play. So if she tells you to tell a story, then I'll tell you a story. I was watching a movie, Days of Wine and Roses, and Lee Remick and Jack Lemmon. See, I know Hal David now, so it smoothed me out a little bit. And they were in and out of alcoholism, and one would get sober and the other one would go. And he was sad when she left. And so, from that, I sat there and scratched myself. Oh, excuse me, Corey girl. Corey does things like that. And if you'll notice tonight, I'm primarily going to exploit these young women because at this age, it may be the last chance I get to do it. If I drop something, which you'll note that I'll try not to do, Corey will probably pick it up. And Elizabeth, when you come up here, I want you to know those are the rules.
Ain't no sunshine when he's gone. It's not warm when he's away. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone. And he's always gone too long. Anytime he goes Wonder this time where he's gone. Wonder if he's gone to stay. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone, and this house just ain't no home anytime he goes away. And I know, 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 I know. Oh, I ought to leave the young thing alone, but ain't no sunshine when he's gone. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone. Only darkness every day. Ain't no sunshine when he's gone, and this house just ain't no home anytime he goes away. Anytime he goes away. Anytime he goes away. Anytime he goes away.
Did you notice how smoothly I missed that chord? It's got to be smooth. I've had the pleasure for the last couple of days of meeting someone that a lot of people ask me if that was my daughter. And we had some humor about that too. And then I met her family, just a nice family. Husband, I told her, you better keep that guy, you know, because I've been a guy a long time, so I know the ones you keep. And then I met her father, who, incidentally, answers to the name Bill Withers. And so I said, well, maybe it was him that did all that stuff that they blamed me for. He and I will certainly have a long conversation after this to sort out who did what to whom. Elizabeth girl. Yeah, come on here, sweetie. I'll tell you why I called Elizabeth out here. I was supposed to explain the song first, or as much explanation as I can give. I told you it's mostly scratching yourself. But that kind of friendship that developed very quickly between Elizabeth's family and mine, the most fun was just knocking on her father's door anyway. And him thinking it was just her, because he had, you know, she said, my father's always wanted to meet you. It couldn't have been more perfect. He came to the door in his pajamas. Yeah, and he was cool. But you mentioned being from Gibraltar, Al. Hal and Al. What an act. Being from a small place myself, as the congressperson said, I'm from Slab Fork, West Virginia. We compensated for what we didn't have by having each other. I remember we had a phone, the people across the road had a refrigerator, so they gave us ice. Somebody else might have a plow, somebody might have a horse. You know, everybody had a garden in the back, but we made it work by people doing things for each other. And on those hot days, that ice came in, you know, was pretty cool we got from that lady's refrigerator. And being about 9 years old, she had these pretty long-legged teenage daughters. And they would come over there and get on our phone and talk and talk and talk. And they would cross those long legs, and I would sit on the floor. To all the girls. Come on, Elizabeth. Thank you for coming, sweetie. I'm going to stand back.
Let's have a round of applause for Bill Withers. This is the last song, so feel free to sing along.
Well, sometimes in your life we all have pain and we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can feel all of your needs if you won't let it show.
Okay, let's sing it.
You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. You just might have a problem that I'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend, and I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lead. Y'all sing with me. Listen, you just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. You just might have a problem that I'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you cannot bear, or you cannot carry, I'll carry your load, and I'll share your load. If you just call me, now won't you help me now? Call me in the morning time, call me. Say it again now. Call me. Say, call me. I can't hear you now. Call me. A little louder, say, call me. Oh, call me. I can't hear you. Call me. I can't hear you. Oh, take me a little higher. One time. Oh, call me, text me, call me, 2-8-B. Listen, I want y'all to break this down. 1, 2, 3. Now listen. Put your hands together like this. Now don't do it if you don't mean it, all right? Congress, we are fighting an uphill battle of being recognized for the music that we spend hours and hours and hours on end writing at midnight. I just got back from LA on Thursday and then ran to Philly to record for 2 days, recording one of Bill's songs and doing an album. So it's tireless, endless work. And I'm just trying to get where the songwriters are today. But I want y'all to stand up on your feet. And Congress, I want y'all to stand in the space of ASCAP. And I want y'all to sing as loud as you can. I want y'all to sing with me. I want you to say, call me. Y'all say, call me. Y'all say, call me. One more time. Call me. For Bill Withers, you call me. For my girl Corey. Call me. Oh, call me. Text me, y'all. Call me. One more time. Call me. And last time. Call me. Thank you so much, ladies.
God bless all of you for coming. For John Lee Sanders, James Jennis, Chris Caswell, Deborah Demlin, all of us at ASCAP and the ASCAP Foundation, thank you, Dr. Billington, for all you do. We lean on you. Thank you. God bless you. God bless America, and good night.
This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.